Hey, welcome to the Do Good X podcast. I am your co-host, Kimberly Danielle, and I'm joined with my fellow co-host, Stephen.
Hey, Kimberly.
Hey.
So the 4 episodes over the next month will be a bit different than we typically produce. So think of it as a mixtape, a mashup of some of the most impactful moments, lessons, and insights shared from last season.
So you'll hear clips from past guests. This includes founders, investors, and different change makers who've generously shared what it really looks like to build something that matters. But to get us started today, today's episode is a reintroduction to who we are at Do Get X, what we're building, what we have seen on the entrepreneurial journey.
And whether you have been with us since we launched season 1, or you're just finding your way here, this mashup is a taste of what we're really all about. And your invitation is to journey with us, to get inspired, and to gain insight and practical tips, and to keep showing up for the vision that has been placed before you, which is to build a business that makes a positive impact.
Ready to get started?
Let's dive in.
And today we just want to share a little bit about who we are, what we are up to, why we want you here to journey with us, and get you hyped for what's to come in our podcast. I am Kimberly Danielle, a community builder, a coach, a communications strategist who comes from generations of faith-driven entrepreneurs who believe that our purpose should drive us to contribute to the common good, all of us. I have a combined 15 years of experience in communications and brand strategy, senior leadership, and consulting with purpose-driven organizations to develop strategies that deepen their engagement, that deepen their impact, and increase their revenue. And I have the extreme gift of serving as a co-founder and project director for Do Good X. And for over 7 years, I have supported, provided resources, coached, and built a community for social entrepreneurs who are ready to take their early stage businesses to the next level. This podcast is not just a podcast. It is your sanctuary. It is a space designed specifically for Black and Brown folks, especially Black women who are navigating the messy. And we know it is also challenging, but it is a very rewarding journey and path. I am joined by my fellow co-founder, my co-conspirator, my friend, Stephen, and together we are your hosts and advocates for turning ventures into businesses for good. So hello, Stephen. Why don't you share a bit about who you are to our good people listening in?
Yes, so I am Stephen Lewis. I'm a catalyst for positive change in communities and businesses. And for over 2 decades, I have inspired leaders and entrepreneurs to live and work on purpose with intention, faith, and a commitment to their well-being. Some of my background is that I have a business background in business and finance. I also have experience in developing and leading organizations, particularly entrepreneurially. I build and resource and support entrepreneurs to bring their ideas to life. And what I have seen through my work, and particularly why behind this podcast, is that I want more African Americans, particularly women of color, to have access to the knowledge, the experience, and the advice that allows their businesses to grow. So what we always say at Do Good X, let's do good, because we're all called to create in service to the betterment of all. We understand that the challenges that you face, the doubts that whisper in your ear, and we are here to help you transform that doubt into unshakable confidence, to foster the growth of your dreams without sacrificing how you attend to yourself and your well-being.
So, what can you expect from this podcast? In each episode, we hope that you will discover inspiration to fuel your passion for community impact and for entrepreneurship. Stephen and I will share our personal experiences and stories, and we'll also invite guests to share their own stories and valuable insights that provide wisdom for your entrepreneurial path.
We'll equip you with the practical strategies and resources to help you overcome obstacles and thrive in your purpose-driven business. Each week, we want to leave you with something that compels you to come back.
You are the most valuable player. You are your greatest asset. So you must attend to yourself and your well-being to not just be successful, but to thrive in that success. So we hope you leave each episode feeling just a little bit lighter, and shed some stress, embrace your self-compassion, and you find joy in the adventure.
And as the African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Leave this podcast feeling empowered, recognizing not just yourself as your greatest asset, but also the community who is here to join and support and to cheer you on. Together, we want to help you build the confidence to develop and grow a viable, impactful business and lean into a community that surrounds you.
So your work is deeply rooted in purpose-driven businesses. Can you share how you discovered your purpose and how it led you to co-founding and creating DoGoodX?
My work is about, I think, really trying to help people to live and lead their lives purposefully. And I think in many ways it's because I recognize that everybody wants their life to matter. I haven't met anyone who says, I don't want my life to matter. And so how do we help people do that? How do we help people live out their deepest longings? When I was, a young, early 20-something-year-old, I worked in banking and finance. I was in this kind of, junior executive kind of program. And I remember saying, man, there's got to be more to life than climbing the corporate ladder to, make a lot of money, get married, having a home and a family, growing old and die. Like, I got to believe that my life has greater significance than that. And that began a whole journey of kind of exploring how do you do that? And not just individuals, but how do you help communities live out of their deeper sense of purpose, how they're called to be and participate in the welfare of the larger community. And so I have found business to be a catalyst to help make that happen, whether it be for profit or a nonprofit. Businesses can be a force for good. Now, yes, there's a lot of negative things that are said about it, and all types of legalities and stuff that you see in the news and that type of thing. But businesses have the opportunity to be a force for good, and they can be a force for good because its leaders and the team of people in which its mission and its values are organized around have the capacity to be inspiration, to inspire the kind of good that we want to see in the world.
What specific gap led to the creation of DoGoodX, and how do we seek to fill that gap?
I just feel that, that the next generation, the next move for them beyond kind of activism and organizing and protesting is construction. How do we construct new businesses and communities that really live out our deepest values and love and care for one another so that we all might win, so that everybody might thrive and succeed, and to participate in a community that cares for us all. And so DoGoodX was energized by that idea to say that we don't have to just accept the world as it is. We can actually create the world as it could be. And I think part of what I am inviting through DoGoodX is to ask people, how might we create the world as it could be through the kinds of organizations that we want to see in this 21st century that will help in instilling the good that we want to see in our communities and the broader world. So Do Good X really comes out of that understanding that people of deep faith and values can do more than just the status quo. They can build new kinds of organizations in the marketplace, and to see that as their work of service or ministry, um, or what it is that they're called to be and do to help create this type of global community that we want to be a part of. And so Do Good X, I think it's rightly named, is really asking, what is your X? X marks the spot. What is your X? What is your spot, your mark to actually do good in the world? And to know that you can actually do that in a very structured way, through a for-profit or nonprofit or a B corporation, but you yourself can actually build the kind of organizations that will be a partner in the community to help shape that community in such a way that benefits and tends to the welfare of us all.
Let me ask you about your source of inspiration. So, who or what inspires your work with social entrepreneurs?
I've always been inspired by organizations that are making a profit and then they pay it forward into the larger community. So, I've always been fascinated by Ben and Jerry's story. And then Patagonia. I've always been inspired by the ways people who built businesses that are holding financial returns and social impact together and asking the question, why can't we do more of that? I think Pixar is another one. I mean, I love the way in which, here's these people who bring creativity and the arts on behalf of changing people's mindsets and hopefully, broaden people's imagination and bringing them into a world that they never imagined was possible. And so Pixar has a fascinating story about how they did all that through animation. But it's those kinds of organizations that have bring together the financial and the social impact, organizations who really create these kinds of instill people's imaginations to help them see what they could not imagine. The late Bell Hooks says, what you cannot imagine will never come into being. So how do we catalyze people's imagination to see anew what could be, not just what is? I think Steve Jobs and Pixar kind of lives out that spirit that Bell Hooks is kind of getting at. So it's those kind of organizations that really have shaped my own imagination and inspired me in the work that I want to at least seed with you and others through Do Good X. Failure is a word that's often mentioned in the entrepreneurial world, and I think it's important to discuss now, especially if this has come up for you as we reflect back on the year. So today we're going to chat about failure.
Failure is something that happens to actually get you on the path, to get your business on the path that it's supposed to be. So it really can be a catalyst for your personal growth as a founder, as an entrepreneur, a catalyst for growth for your business, because maybe it's saying, hey, maybe you need to shift customers, or maybe you need to pivot your product, the features of your product or your service or your revenue model. It's showing you what you can change and shift in your business or change in order to really set yourself and your business up well. But that only happens if you don't allow failure to get in your way. And failure can also strengthen your resilience and perseverance if you're looking at it as an opportunity for growth and not the end all be all. And then it can also provide the opportunity to build a stronger business.
What's most important is that you try not to avoid it because it's unavoidable. Failure will come with the work. And I think it's, how you overcome it and what you do with it that's most important. So, I think, when I think about what we have done, Kimberly, I mean, we've had a lot of setbacks. So maybe you don't want to use the word failure. Maybe it's a setback. a setback means that you can get up and you can step forward, right? So, but we've had a number of setbacks, from moving from, a in-person to a virtual, to thinking about how we shift our customer base in order to get, more people involved in our work, to a number of different things that we've done. And so I think part of, when you think about failures or setbacks, is really taking the time to reflect on what you need to learn and how you will move forward. Which is really important. How do you really get clear about what is it that I need to learn in this moment? What am I learning in this actual moment that feels like failure? And what do I need to do different so that I don't keep repeating this? Or what is this moment teaching me that I need to attend to so that I can actually move forward? I think also it's about attending to your mindset. It's, your set of beliefs that shape how you view yourself and the world. I mean, failure can often shift the ways that we think about ourselves and our business. And in many ways, they're ways that don't really serve us well. So how are you building a mindset that pushes you forward instead of pulling you backwards? And that mindset is a big part of it, because you and I both know that your mind can play terrible tricks on us and make us think that, we haven't been as successful as we want to be, or we're not where we should be. And we don't take time to sit back and think about our gratitude, about what have we been successful in? What did we overcome to get to where we are?
Yeah, that's so important. Today I have on a shirt that says, be kind. And I would say, be kind to your mind. In order to move to these moments, be kind to your mind, give yourself some grace. And when failure happens, I'm not going to say if, because it will, or those setbacks, like Stephen said, when those setbacks happen, again, think to yourself, what am I grateful for in this learning opportunity to set me up better for what's next? And how can you be more gentle with yourself and have that community of support around you? Now, if you are ready to turn your setback into stepping stones, we also can be a resource for you at Do Good X. We invite you to go to dogoodx.org. Here you can explore our resources, our program, and connect with a community of like-minded entrepreneurs and change makers who want to support one another. And so, make sure you visit dogoodx.org. And if you've enjoyed this brief episode with me and Stephen, make sure you leave us a rating or share this episode with somebody who needs to hear this, who's wrestling with failure and need help in shifting their perspective to something that is more supportive to their well-being and to their business moving forward. We thank you for joining us again. And until next time, be well and do good.
Thank you for listening to the Do Good X podcast. To continue the conversation or access our resources, visit www.dogoodx.org. Join us again for conversations that will nourish your soul, ignite your dreams, and empower you to build an impactful business, one intentional step at a time. Until then, keep striving, thriving, and doing good.